Hello folks, I wanted to show you one of the neatest, easiest tricks to do in photography. You can do this for macro photography. Right now I'm just using a regular 24 to 85 VRG lens, not even using a prime, just to prove a simple point. Now I'm exposing for 26 seconds, but this little trick can be used on people, macro objects, and it's incredibly easy. As I've told you before, when it comes to shooting in the dark, the shutter on your camera really doesn't matter that much. I mean, it does to a certain extent, but it's all about painting with light. You're using time and you're using light as your shutter. Now, one of the little tricks that I've been doing for a long time, as you can see here, I've actually got an LED, a double strip of LED lights that I can actually change between colors and purples and greens and whatnots, and I just have it inside one of my stroboscopic umbrella dishes. In the center I've actually just included some aluminum foil for reflectance, but I've taped off the back to prevent any light leaks. And what I'm doing, if I'll turn the light off here and show you, is that I'm actually painting this object with a 26 second exposure. Then I'm turning off the light, then I'm moving the object, and I'm immediately switching colors. This is actually, you're thinking, well, this is for simplex still shots. But no, actually some of the most beautiful shots that you can do with this are a photography of people, like your wife, your children. Shoot them in the dark, outdoors, somewhere you got a nice black background. You can actually frame them off to the right of the frame, say with a smile or one pose. Have them move over a little bit with your light off. You can actually set your speedlight strobe to cycle at once every 2 seconds, and you can have them move over to the right, or you can just have them turn their head and change their expression, have a look directly into the camera with a smile or whatever you want. And then the next stroboscopic shot, they're actually looking up. Great, just let your mind run wild. What I've actually done, namely on this shot, since red light is certainly nowhere near as potent as the blue light is, I've actually had to expose the red light for longer, and what I did is I exposed for 13 seconds on the red light, turned the light off, then I moved the object over, and you can download the picture below. This is really simplex stuff, and it's very fun. And when it comes to portrait photography, this is really easy to do. Now, the easiest way to do this is with an assistant. You can take a stroboscopic shot of, or just a regular flash shot of someone's face on a tripod, and then have someone off, even yourself. Have yourself off to the side with like a red filter or a blue filter, or just another light. You could use this regular white light and just recompose. Either have them move their face or move their entire body over, as I've done with this metal statue. I've actually exposed it for the red for X duration. I've actually illuminated it with my LED lights here, and using my stroboscopic dish for my Einstein Studio strobes. Then I've moved the object, turned it, and exposed it with a different color. This actually all plays into the mythosymbolism of this particular statue, because I got presented this statue by Rama P. Kumaraswamy, the son of one of the most intelligent authors to ever grace the face of the earth. He gave me the rights to all his father's works. The guy wrote dozens of books and thousands of articles. He was so famous he was on the stamp of India. I feel so happy that I was graced with his father's works, and just to give them away. But anyway, he gave this to me and some of his father's handwritten stuff, and I was just showing this to you an example. Like I said, you can download the picture below, but don't think in terms of just macro photography. I'm not using a macro lens at all right now. I'm just using a regular lens, but think in terms of people photography. People love this. When it comes to portraiture, you don't have to use multicolored lights like I'm using here. I'm just using this to get the effect of what the metaphysical symbolism of this statue represents: destruction and regeneration. So I'm using blue light for regeneration and red light for destruction, and I'm moving the statue. And you can see what I mean when you download the picture. But this is so simple. All I'm actually doing is holding this, and I have an LED remote. You can buy this stuff at Lowe's or Home Depot. It's just a double strip of LEDs with a remote control. They're actually encased in flexible silicone. You can change it to purple, strobe, flash. You can do all sorts of stuff with this. But you don't have to use these LEDs. What you can use is your simplex speed light, or even a flashlight. And what you can have them do is take a shot, have your tripod shot, take a flash shot, have the shutter open, use the flash again. You can just simply apply, you don't have to have even have to have the speed light on your camera. Just open up the shutter in complete darkness, have them have your composition right beforehand, before you turn the lights off, have them take a nice portrait shot, have them move or compose their head to express whatever emotion you want. You know, a serious portraiture shot and the next shot with their hands on their head, you can actually, one of the neatest things to do is one of two different methodologies. If I have a person here and have them looking directly into the camera, like I take one shot, I can just fire the strobe completely. Doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be attached or slaved to your camera at all. You got your shutter open. Okay, you got your shutter open the whole time. So forget about your shutter speed. You got your shutter on bulb, alright? So you can have them directly in front of you, smiling or whatever, and then think of them like looking up to the sky. You could use a different light for the second shot. One of the neat things to do is you can take a triple shot or more than triple shot, have them facing away, and then have them move in the dark a little bit more, another shot with your speed light, and then another shot and another shot. You know, not everything has to be really complicated in photo. Even the most skilled Photoshop user, okay, it would still take them a long time to do this, even if you're using multiple photographs. And people are like, well, I can stitch those shots. No, just do it really simply in a matter of 5 seconds. Have them stand there, strobe, and then have them move, strobe, 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 or have them facing you with whatever shot you want, and have them looking down or looking sad. Or one of the neatest shots that I did is I had a person standing over here with their arms crossed across their heart, and they were looking kind of happy. And then I had them move over, and I took another strobe shot, except this time they were hugging their mother. Then it was all one single shot. They were doing it completely in the dark. Okay, strobe shot. I just did it with a handheld old SB26. It wasn't even connected to the camera at all. I had the camera on bulb. Okay, and I just fired a shot. I checked my exposure beforehand, obviously, which you'll have to do. Okay, then I had him move over. I had him sidestep by roughly 3 feet. I had enough so I could actually crop it in so make it look like it was perfectly, right here and right there. And then I had the mother move in and then hug the child, and I just took another strobe shot in complete darkness. You could use colors, you could just use your speed light. This is so simple, and people are stunned by it. This is one of the most, I can make 1,000 ones like this, but this is one of the most simple ones that actually impresses the hell out of it. It's like, oh my God, how did you get that shot? Did you do that in a photo? It's like, no, all I did was take a time exposure, and everybody thinks in terms of aperture and their shutter, but as I've told you before, you've got two shutters. You got the shutter that's in your camera, and then you have your other shutter in darkness. Now, you can increase your time dilation. What do I mean by increasing time dilation? It means it increases your working time for creating that one single shot. You can increase your time dilation for working your shot by increasing your aperture, bump it up to 16, 28, 29, and then decreasing your ISO, bring it down to ISO. You're thinking, well, I'm going to shoot total darkness on a tripod with ISO 200? Yes, the answer is yes, because that gives you more time to paint with the light or compose your shot how you want. And like I said, this simplex shot, I'll have the picture for download below, but think about applying this to children, to people, to family members. Take a shot of your child. Just put your camera on a tripod, okay? Compose your child over here. And hopefully they're old enough to take instructions from you. And then have them look up here or hold their hands up here and have them move over a little bit. Or they can just simply turn and do that, and you can take another shot. One of the neatest things to do is take a regular shot like that. You can apply a gel to your speed light and then fire a different mood like I'm actually doing here. But all you need is just a colored gel. You can use a book cover. You can use anything over your speed light to get the desired effect that you want. It's just really simple and it's beautiful, and people love it. And the portrait shots, people really eat that up. I swear nobody does this anymore. The effects are very beautiful. It doesn't have to be colored lights like that. You don't have to make somebody look like a ghoul, like I'm actually doing with this statue using red and blue. You just use a simple speed light, you know. Compose, shoot, check your exposure. Okay, then you've got it. Then have them take the composition that you want and move. Whatever gesture it is you can think up in your own mind, or you or the subject can move and give a total different composition, or you can do multiple ones. Speed light, speed light, speed light as they're turning or moving, action shot. It's just some of the most beautiful photography out there, and it is so damn simple. Stop thinking in terms of once your camera's on the tripod, okay, forget about the shutter. You know, the bulb is open, I've got ISO 200 set, I got my aperture cranked down real tight so not much light's coming in. What that means is I have a lot of time to play and create a photograph. And you don't even need to have you could use an old crappy speed light from back in the 70s. You can use any speed light, a Canon, it doesn't matter what it is. You're test firing it by hand. So it doesn't even matter once your shutter is open and you're taking a bulb shot, taking a nice time exposure. Who cares? As long as you got the exposure right on the first one, you know it'll be right for the next successive shot. So it's not hard like you think it is. I mean, this is one time that people should experiment with flash photography, is doing stuff like that. I said, just throw some batteries in a speed light. Don't worry about cables or even connecting it to the camera. Just expose for the first shot, turn the object, or in this case the person, have them recompose. They could smile here, they could raise their arms up, or they could jump. I mean, God, just the unlimited possibilities. It's just so easy, and the photographs are so beautiful. I mean, they really are. Some of the most fun is taking time exposure shots and exposing multiple poses or compositions of a single subject on a single exposure with your DSLR. It's just a lot of fun. It's very effective and people love it. And I don't know why people don't do it. It's not complicated at all. I mean, the only thing you're talking about is actually, sticking your camera on a tripod. And I've got a Velo Shutter Boss here where I've got a time for 26 seconds, which gives me the necessary exposure that I need so that I can paint this object, for example, red. I have to expose it longer because red's not very bright. And then I turn it and move it, and then I expose it for blue for X number of seconds more, and I get a really dramatic shot. But it doesn't have to be ghoulish blue and red and green lights, like I said. It could just be regular white light. Think about applying that to children, to portraits, and it kind of blows my mind that nobody does this stuff because it is insanely simple. I mean, you don't even need the Velo Shutter Boss. You don't even need the remote MC20A, whatever camera, Nikon DSLR you've got. You don't even need a remote. You just stick it. I mean, who cares if you get a little bit of shake once you hit the shutter? You hit it again and drop the shutter. Who cares? All you just do is stick your camera, open up the shutter, do what you need to do, then close the shutter. So, who cares? No worry about camera shake. No worry about shutter, because as long as you've got the correct illumination, the amount of lumens required to accurately paint your shot for the first compositional pose, then you've got it for the rest. This is really unbelievably simple. I suggest you try this. It's a lot of fun. And you're like, oh my God, I'm making these amazing photographs, and you'll be showing them to people. And they'll wonder how you do it. They think you did it in Photoshop, which of course you could do, but this is far quicker, it's a lot more fun, and it's really insanely easy. So anyway, that's another one of amongst thousands of photography tricks, and I'll catch y'all later, okay?